Hello, this is Heiko. I'm your instructor and for our online 111 class, and I've gotten a couple of questions about this problem, and I feel this is easier to explain through video than so this is in our Module 1 homework through a video than in typing and writing it all out and reading it. So hopefully this will be helpful. Um, I posted my own table, so if I were the student, and then you will have some other numbers, but can follow the steps that I'm taking. Now, the way it is structured. Oh, I'm not seeing here something on my thing, but it should be. I usually have a something to point with. Oh, here it is. It's just changed where it is. Um, And so we have in this column, we have the first column is basically where it tells us what we find in each row. So this is the way this table is structured. So in the first column, it tells us that in the first row we have x, and then in the next row we are given f of x, and we see already, oh, we are not always given f of x, but sometimes that is what we have to find. And then we are given g of x, and again, the first three we are given, and then we have to find actually g of x. And then we are supposed to find f minus g of x and f plus g of x. And again, sometimes we're supposed to find it, and sometimes we're given it. And so we always have to take a look in each column, basically. So each column is one problem. So this is problem 1, this is problem 2, problem 3, 4, and 5. And in the first two columns, we only asked to find one value. And in the second and third and fourth, no, the third, fourth, and fifth, sorry, we are supposed to each find two. So let's get started. So in the first column, so in our, well, right, the first column, we are given everything. And then, so this, I'm going to just say problem 1, problem 2, 3, 4, and 5 to keep it a little easier, I guess. And so in problem 1, start here, we are given f of x, f of x, or in this case, x actually is -5. So we are given, hold on, f of -5, so equals -6. And then we are given g of -5, and that is 9. So now we are asked to find f minus g of x. And so we're from here, we can find that f minus, oops, sorry, put the parentheses in the wrong spot. F minus g of -5 is our x, equals, and so we're coming back to the definition, right? That means it is f of -5 minus g of -5. So we're always coming back to that, knowing what that means, and then we just plug them in. So we have f of -5 is -6, and then minus, and then g of -5 is 9. -6 minus 9 is -15. And I'm gonna check myself by finding the f plus g of x, because it tells me the answer there. And so it's a nice way to make sure I'm getting the right idea of what I'm supposed to do. So this is now f plus, so f plus g, so f of -5 plus g of -5. And here again I plug in -6 plus 9, and there I get 3, and that is indeed the answer here. So I checked my work and my approach, and it worked out well. So let's go to number 2. And so here we are given f of -4 equals -5. And then f of g of -4 equals 10. And so I'm going to check myself again by first trying out f minus g of x of -4 and see if that comes out correct, because we are given the answer, right? F of -4 minus g of -4. And I plug in my values, so I have -5 minus, and the g of -4 is 10. So I have -15, and yes, that is correct. So again, check. So we are interpreting this thing correctly, right? The table. We are interpreting this table correctly, which is nice. So now we can find in the same vein f plus g of -4. That equals f of -4 plus g of -4. And again, I plug those values in, which is -5 plus 10. And so that answer would be 5. And so I can actually write my 5 here. 5. And the other one, what did I have? The f minus was -15. -15 was the answer, yeah. Yeah, so those are the first two columns. They were relatively straightforward. Now we'll have to start going a little bit backwards. And here is how this works. So let me actually make a little. So this was number 2. This was number 1. And so now we can start on number 3 here. And so we are not given f of -3. So f of -3 is something we don't know yet. So I'm gonna call that A for the moment to not confuse us with x's and stuff. I'm gonna call that A for no particular reason. Any letter will do, but we just don't know what it is. But g of -3 we are given. So that is an 8. And now I'm looking also for something for f minus g. So that's not going to help us because it's also an empty spot. We don't know what it is. So let's start with f plus g. So that together, we can find again f plus g of -3. And that is f of -3 plus g of -3. Now here, what the difference is I'm gonna fill in everything. So I'm gonna fill in f plus g of -3 because I'm told that that is -1. Then f of -3 we called a, just for our own convenience. And then plus g of -3 is 8. So now I have an equation. And I have an equation with one variable. That's why I chose this one first, the +1, because we had another second number. And all I have to do is go -8 on both sides. And I will get minus 9 is A. So I now have found that f of negative 3 equals negative 9. Ta-da. And so I can write that in here, negative 9. And then I can say, so now I can find f of f minus g. Oops, again putting the things in the wrong spot. Sorry about that. F minus g of negative 3 equals, again, I start by writing out my definition of what f, so what it means to subtract two function values, and I get, so now I can type both in, right? Because f of negative 3 we just found is negative 9 minus, and the other one was 8. Oops, that's a funny looking 8. And that will give us negative 17. And that's what I can write in here. And this is basically what we're going to do with the other two now as well. So I'm going to say, well, let me actually do it this way. So we have a little bit more space. So here we have, so this is now number 4. F of 0. So now we are in the 0. Really, it doesn't actually, right, for any of them matter what x exactly is, because we are not having a formula. We're just having given the values. However, this is what we're given, so that's what we work with. So we know this time f of 0, but we do not know g of 0. And so since we used A already, I'm going to use B now. Again, for no particular reason other than that's the next letter. So then from those. So again, this time I'm going to start with f minus g because we are given a number. And so f minus g of 0 equals, again, I use the definition, f of 0 minus g of 0. And again, I plug everything in now. F minus g of 0 we are given in the table is 3. And then f of 0 is 2. And our g of 0 we had called b. So now that's some style, which way you want to move things. My style is, since it's a minus b, I plop it over to the right side. So I'm going to do it a little longer way. You're welcome to shorten that if you're good in solving equations, but I know not everybody is. So we have here b plus 3 now equals 2. And then I minus 3 on both sides. Hold on, I have to move it up a little bit. And then out of that comes b is left, and here we have a negative 1. So our b in this case will be negative 1. That is g of 0. So that's negative 1. And then now we can find f plus g of x. So let me first write out here, right, that this is g of 0 equals negative 1. And so then I can find f plus g of 0 equals, and again, f of 0 plus g of 0. And that is f of 0 is 2. G of 0 we found to be, minus 1. Like that. And so our answer here is 1. So I can type this in as 1. So now the last one is most challenging, because now I'm given neither f of 3 nor g of 3. I'm only given f minus g of 3 and f plus g of 3. So let's start that. What we do. So we follow our same system. So I'm going to start here by saying that the same system. We're starting on 5. F of 3 equals, so we had A and B, so I'm going to say C, and G of 3 is going to be D. And so then from there, we can say F, and do it whichever one is easier for you to do first. I'm going to go with F plus G of 3, which is F of 3 plus G of 3, and which is C plus D. And on the left side, we are given, so again, our table, it tells us that F plus G is 7. So we have 7 equals C plus D. Now I'm going to write out F minus G of 3 equals F of 3 minus G of 3, which equals, so this time we have C minus D, and the answer to F minus G was 1. So I'm going to write a 1 here. So what I have now is a system of equations. I'm going to write it out one more time. I'm just going to make a line here underneath. So these were our beginnings, and now I'm going to write 7 equals C plus D, and 1 equals C minus D. And there are 2 different methods. One is the substitution method. You can solve for one variable and plug it in the other equation, but this looks so nice that it wants to be added. So I'm going to use the addition method here, that I add both equations. So then I get 7 plus 1 is 8. C plus C gives us 2C, and D minus D just disappears. So how nice. And so then all I have to do is divide by 2, and I get C equals 4. And now I can plug it into either equation. How about I'm going to plug that in to the second equation. So I can from here say this is 1 equals, so I can plug in 4. Oh, no, that was C. Let's use the other one. That's actually nicer. Oh, you always want to use the easier equation. So I for some reason had my head in the wrong equation. 7 equals 4 plus D, because then all we have to do is minus 4 on both sides, and we get D equals 3. 3 equals D. So then we know, since F of 3 was C, so F of 3 equals 4. And we know that G of 3 equals 3. So we can then plug our answers up here, 4 and 3. So if you have further questions, I'm planning on putting that on our the general questions discussion post. Feel free to write questions back on there, or email me directly. Okay, hope this was helpful. And stop recording.